17. The unprofessional rivalry. Lavanya's POV. Lavanya? Virat sir asked, his eyes still fixed on the road as he drove carefully. Yes, sir? I turned my attention to him. Come on, Lavanya. I know I was your senior in college and now your manager at the office. But apart from that, I'm also a friend of yours. At least call me by my name when we're outside. He smiled, glancing at me, and I blushed. What? Why am I blushing? Crazy, stupid cheeks. He just told you to call him by his name, not by terms like dear, love, Jan, my inner voice teased. What are you thinking? He glanced at me, confused. Nothing. I lied, biting my tongue at my silly thoughts. Your brain is a mess, Lavanya, my inner voice commented, and I shifted uncomfortably. Are you okay? He asked. Yes, why? You seem a little, distracted, he remarked. Distracted or dreamy? My inner voice taunted. Shut up! No, nothing to worry about, I assured him. Sure? Yeah, I promise, I said with a smile, and he smiled back. Promise? Ahan, my inner voice teased again. His glances every couple of minutes were the highlight of my day. We talked, he smiled, I blushed, he laughed, I giggled. The evening felt perfect and the drive was wonderful. He made me forget all my worries and fears. Lavanya? He whispered, stopping the car just outside my apartment building. I murmured, still staring at my hands. He cleared his throat. He paused, then continued, looking at me. You know, I was a very shy person back in college. Whenever I saw you, I felt this urge to talk to you, but I couldn't dare to. He turned his head forward. When I saw you again during the interview, I felt like destiny had given me another chance. I was so happy to see you again. I felt alive. That 1 year without you was really hard for me, not seeing you every day. His voice softened, tinged with sadness. But the day you joined our office, I was on cloud 9. He turned to look at me again, and my heart skipped a beat. So, now you know how I really feel about you. He looked down at the gear shift, his fingers gently touching it. Lavanya. He called my name softly, his voice husky and romantic, like a melody to my ears. I looked at him, then at his hand resting on the gear. Lavanya, I think I am in love with you, he said. Both our eyes locked at the same time. Oh, my God, my lips parted in surprise. I knew he had feelings for me, but I never expected him to confess like this. It was overwhelming to be loved by someone so gentle, calm, and lovable. Deep inside, I felt incredibly lucky that he felt that way about me. I was beyond happy, as if I'd found my perfect Prince Charming. Actually, I couldn't describe the feeling. It was a unique mixture of hunger, relief, nervousness, and impatience. I wasn't on earth anymore. I was already in heaven. Thud! The sound of the thud made both of us wince, pulling us out of our dreamy world and into an awkward silence. I glanced at him at the same time he glanced at me, and we both quickly turned our eyes away from each other. He stared out of the car window, and from the corner of my eye, I saw him smiling and blushing. I turned to look out my own window, trying to hide my red cheeks. Oh gosh, I should probably go, it's late, I said, still not looking at him. Of course. We'll talk tomorrow at lunch, he replied. We will? But tomorrow is Saturday, sir, I reminded him, hiding my smile. Oh, yeah. How could I forget that again? He stammered. See you on Monday, I said, opening the car door and stepping out. Monday? He looked at me, a bit surprised. Yes, Monday, I confirmed, closing the car door behind me. Yeah, Monday. He smiled weakly, a clear note of disappointment in his voice. I knew he was eager to see me again, and I was just teasing him. I already knew what he wanted to hear, but it was fun to play with him. He's so adorable. Bye, I waved, smiling as I stepped backward slowly. Bye, can't wait to see you on Monday, he confessed. Even I can't wait. I grinned at him and turned to rush towards the elevator in my building.
Jackie's POV. I wasn't in the mood to follow her tonight since she wasn't alone. She was with that smiley Superman. The protector, the great gentleman, the humble manager guy. My ass. I groaned in frustration. Can't believe this. How could she go with him and not with me? While parking my car in the garage, I spotted his car again. He was sitting at the driver's seat, and when I moved forward, I saw her sitting next to him. They were talking. This is bad. Too bad. It's not happening. No. Are they gonna kiss? My inner voice sent a shiver through me. Shut up, I whispered to myself, rolling my eyes. My mind was racing, but when I saw them staring at each other with such intensity, I felt restless. My breathing became fast. Without thinking, I punched the side of my car. Thud. The sound made me snap back to reality. I hid behind the car, trying to steady my breathing. After a few moments, she got out of the car and went into the building. I sighed and closed my eyes in relief. Thank God. Once he drove away, I went inside my house. I'll see that bastard on Monday. I took a shower and went to the balcony for some fresh air. The morning was sunny and beautiful. My eyes instinctively went to her apartment balcony, and I sighed, then quickly looked away. Just as I was about to turn and leave, the door to her balcony opened, and she stepped out, towel in hand, rubbing her wet hair. She looked absolutely breathtaking in her mint-colored bathrobe. Wow. Why are you staring at her like a lion watching his prey? My inner voice mocked. I don't know, but I don't care either. I couldn't tear my eyes away from her. She was busy drying her hair, and when she finished, she wrapped the towel around her head. Then she picked up a jug from the floor and began watering the plants with a sweet smile. Watching her care for the small plants with such love and attention was captivating. She sniffed the red roses with satisfaction, and I couldn't help but stare in awe. Oh, dear Lord. Suddenly, her eyes snapped up and found mine. The smile on her lips faltered, giving way to widened eyes. I remained expressionless, offering her nothing, not a flicker of emotion, because a part of me was still hurt, still simmering with quiet anger over yesterday's incident. Leaning against the steel railing of the balcony, I watched her, unyielding, but she was blinking rapidly, her lips slightly parted as if caught off guard. 50 meters lay between us, yet the tension in the air was almost palpable, humming like a live wire stretched too tight.
Lavinia's POV. As I was watering the plants, enjoying the bright colors and the fresh fragrance of the flowers, I suddenly noticed him. My gaze snapped up, and there he was, the monster of the year, Mr. Jackie Dawson. What is he doing here? My jaw dropped, and my eyes went wide in disbelief. I stood frozen, unable to comprehend the situation. Was he really there? I blinked a few times, trying to convince myself that it was real, but he was still standing there, looking at me without any hint of emotion. Then it hit me. He had told Virat sir that he also lived here. Oh yes, how could I forget that? But I never expected him to live directly across from my apartment. Why God, why? Why are you playing these games with me? This isn't funny anymore. Can't you see he's making my life a complete mess? After what felt like an eternity, I shifted my eyes away from him and went inside to prepare my lunch, trying to shake off the awkward tension in the air. Later, my parents called to update me that it would take 11 days to complete all the rituals they had planned. They were concerned about me living alone, but I reassured them that the neighbors were around and I was fine. In the evening, I went out to a nearby shopping mall for groceries and other essentials. However, by 7 pm, I was back home in a terrible mood. Why? Because I had encountered Mr. American Dawson again at the mall. Was he following me? Why is he so complicated and weird? The rest of my Saturday was uneventful. I spent most of Sunday napping, and my weekend wasn't nearly as entertaining as I had hoped. I just watched a few classic Bollywood songs and movies to pass the time. Monday. Hey, Ruhi. I greeted her as soon as I reached my cabin, trying to get her attention. She didn't reply. She didn't even glance up from her computer screen. Are you busy? I asked, unsure if she even heard me. Silence. Are you okay? I asked again. Still no response. What's going on? What happened? Is something wrong? I asked, genuinely worried. Does it matter? She finally responded, her voice cold. Yes, of course. What's going on, Ruhi? I asked, dragging my chair over to sit beside her. Well, I don't believe that anymore. She snapped. What do you mean? I asked, completely confused. You know exactly what I mean. She shot back. Huh? I frowned in confusion. Please, don't act innocent, okay? She yelled, finally looking at me for the first time since I entered. What did I do? I asked, furrowing my brows in confusion. You want me to say it? Really? Ruhi's voice grew louder, filled with frustration. Stop shouting, Ruhi. You're making a scene, I reminded her, glancing around to make sure no one was paying attention. I don't care, she snapped, turning back to her computer screen. What's the matter with you? Why are you behaving like this? Please tell me clearly, I pleaded, trying to understand her sudden shift in attitude. This isn't funny anymore. Wow, you should get an Oscar for your acting skills, I must say, she mocked. Ruhi, that's not fair. You're hurting me. I opened up, hoping she'd understand. Really? And what about you hurting me, huh? She shot back. When did I hurt you? I can't remember doing that, and if you felt hurt in any way, I swear it was unintentional. I responded, my voice softening. Of course, how could I forget? Lying to your closest friend was totally unintentional. She clapped her hands mockingly. And that's when it hit me. The conversation from Friday evening, my blunder, came rushing back. Oh dear Lord, how did I forget about that? Oh, I paused, struggling for words. Oh? She looked at me, her expression furious. Just an oh? She complained. I am really sorry, Ruhi. I completely forgot. I swear, I didn't mean to hurt you. It was a tiring day, and I messed up. I'm really sorry. Please forgive me, I pleaded, showing how regretful I was. I don't need your freaking apology, okay? She yelled again, her anger evident. Okay, I'll make it up to you. You tell me what I should do to make you forgive me, I offered, grabbing her left hand in a desperate attempt to make things right. The truth, she demanded firmly. What? Yeah, I don't need your apology. I just want you to tell me the complete truth. Then I'll forgive you. Oh no. What truth? I gulped, my heart racing as I avoided her sharp glare. Seriously? She raised an eyebrow in disbelief. Look, I lied because, I hesitated, not knowing how to explain the real truth. See, that's why I'm angry with you. You don't trust me enough to tell me something simple. Go ahead, don't even care about your silly truth, but don't expect me to smile at you, be best friends with you, or be a stupid friend who gets stabbed in the back by her only friend. Her voice cracked as she spoke the last part, and I could see her eyes beginning to water. She quickly turned back to her work. Is she crying? Oh no, this is not good at all. Rui, I I started, but she cut me off. Don't, she snapped. With a deep, heavy sigh, I returned to my cabin, dragging my chair before settling down to work. Every now and then, I stole a glance at her, but she never once looked my way. It hurt, yet how could I possibly reveal the unbelievable incident that had happened to me that day? I simply didn't have the courage to speak the truth to anyone. She was my friend, but I couldn't ignore the fact that she had an impatient, viral mouth. If she heard about my horrifying encounter with our boss, she might not hesitate to call the Women's Safety Organization and have him arrested. I couldn't risk it. I would tell her one day, but today wasn't that day. Just as I was leaving my department, Lavanya, I heard him call my name with a hopeful tone. I froze in my tracks and turned to face him, quickly hiding the blush creeping onto my face. Yes, sir? I asked, curious at his sudden seriousness. He waited until the corridor had cleared and no one was around, then spoke again. Lavanya. He paused and exhaled, closing his eyes for a moment as if preparing himself. I'm listening, sir, I encouraged, trying to ease the tension. Yeah, actually. Did you eat your lunch? He asked, sounding almost hesitant. I wasn't sure why, but his question made me smile. Or perhaps it was just his nervousness that was endearing. No, sir. I was just about to go to the canteen. I gestured to the lunchbox in my hand. Oh, sorry, I stopped you. You please carry on. His nervousness was palpable, and he seemed even more flustered now. Are you okay, sir? I asked, concerned. Yeah, of course. Why? He seemed to be breathing heavily, his discomfort clear. No, just like that. I shrugged, trying to lighten the mood. Do you want to come? I cooked lunch today. I grinned at him, hoping to make him relax. It worked. He nodded and smiled back brightly. Sure, I would love to task. He started, but suddenly stopped mid-sentence. What is he looking at? I felt my heart skip a beat, wondering if there was something wrong with my hair or appearance. He was staring intently at something above my head. I reached up, touching my hair to check. What? I asked, looking at him, confused. Then I realized he wasn't looking above my head. He was staring at something behind me. I turned around to follow his gaze, and that's when I saw him, a tall figure standing just behind me, glaring coldly at Virat sir. The man's jawline was sharp and defined, and his cyan blue eyes were piercing, almost terrifying. His head was slightly raised, his expression radiating pride and arrogance. It felt as if the air itself grew heavier. I was caught between them, standing in the middle of this silent, tense confrontation. If I hadn't been there, I felt like the intensity of their glare could have burned Virat sir alive.
Jackie's POV. I had tried to immerse myself in work today, hoping it would distract me from thoughts of her. But as usual, I failed. It was frustrating, and by lunchtime, I was in no mood to eat. I just sat on the couch, staring out the large glass window at the busy campus and the city beyond, wishing for some peace of mind. This isn't working. I sighed, my frustration growing, and turned to look at the CCTV monitor. I saw everyone leaving their departments for lunch, and I longed for some quiet time. After a while, boredom crept in, so I decided to order a coffee. As I got up to grab my phone, I glanced at the monitor again. There, near the entrance on the third floor, I spotted a familiar mauve figure, Lavanya. There was a man standing in front of her, but I couldn't make out his face since the camera was facing his back. Who's that? I squinted at the screen, trying to get a better look. It took me just a few seconds to recognize the man. It was him, the same guy who was always sticking to her like a leech. I kicked the wall in frustration. Why can't he just stay away from her? What does he want? Without thinking, I rushed out of my suite, my anger pushing me forward. I made my way toward her department, walking quickly as I saw the last few people leaving their offices for the cafeteria. I reached her department's door, hearing his voice just as I approached. Would love to ta. He stopped abruptly when his eyes locked onto mine. Would love to... What? I stood behind Lavanya, and the idiot was staring at me over her head. I could tell my glare was sharp enough to make him swallow nervously twice. I noticed Lavanya touching her head. What's she doing? What? She murmured, looking at him. I couldn't figure out what she was doing until she turned back and looked at me. Her expression was a mix of fear, though I couldn't quite describe it accurately. My focus returned to the man standing behind her. I wanted to tear into him like a lion attacking its prey. I was now determined to make him suffer, to make him beg at my feet. I will make you my puppet. I'll get revenge for what you did that night, you bastard. And I'll force you to reveal your true intentions. Sir. He began to speak, but I cut him off. Mr. Oberoi. Yes, sir. He stammered nervously. I need your work report from last year. I'm considering announcing some changes in the managerial departments based on their performance. Of course, sir, but I was only promoted last year, he replied, still grinning like a fool. Oh, really? Indeed. But don't think it's just about promotion. You could also be demoted. I smirked, watching the color drain from his face. Demotion? He asked, his face filled with horror. Lavanya was still standing between us, shifting her gaze from me to him and back again as we spoke. She too seemed shocked by the word demotion, her eyes lingering on me for a brief moment. Bullseye. There was an eerie silence as I savored the moment. I felt in control and I couldn't stop smiling. Oh, don't worry, it's all completely professional, Mr. Oberoi. It all depends on your performance. So relax. I feigned concern. Is it really professional? My inner voice questioned. Well, I don't care anymore. Professionalism be damned. I just want to crush a stupid grin. He offered a weak smile, and I glanced down at Lavanya, whose face had also turned pale. I smirked at her, then spoke to Lavanya. Miss Lavanya, could you bring me a cup of coffee to my office along with the file I requested? I smiled at her, nodding. See you soon. I didn't wait for her response before turning, shooting Mr. Oberoi one final stern look and heading back to my office. Victory was mine. Game on, pal.